Peace, family. Peace, peace, peace. This is Raven, aka Gaia the Mother, and you are watching Black Lotus TV. So, as you guys know, I am with child. I haven't been posting as much. I'm trying to get to where I'm posting at least once or twice a week, just because I've been working on other projects and I'm getting ready to be a mommy. So, yeah. I actually want to make more content in regards of personal development. As you can see, my whole page is personal development and just going through life. But for today, I am doing a book review. The book review that I am doing is What's in Your Womb. And I got this book years ago, 2015, 2016, by my spiritual auntie. She's a naturopath, massage therapist, Reiki person, and it's the same with this author. The author is Maakheru or Maakheru. I don't want to butcher her name. So, her little bit about her background: she has an MBA from Johns Hopkins University, undergraduate from Howard University. She used to do consulting. That was her background. Along the lines of now, I would presume, because this book is older than 2015, or maybe somewhere in 2015. I have to actually see when this book was published. Okay, so the copyright is 2010, so it's older. It's older than 2015. So she is a Kemetic high priestess, Yoruba initiate, energy healing master teacher, and belief management coach, as well as the founder of the Mayat Foundation Pan-African Charities. And she has a website, themayatfoundation.org. So yeah, I really wanted to talk about this book just because I feel like it's pivotal for any woman that's healing. I feel like it's pivotal even more for any woman who fits into the category or thinks of herself as an indigenous woman or African woman, African American woman, woman of color, whatever you feel like you fit into. I feel like I'm an indigenous woman. I feel like Africa is the entire planet. But that's just me. But I say that to say, just do your research on that, because one of the people that I studied was a chemist, African chemist by the name of Sheikh Anta Diop, and he's just really, really profound in regards of the origin of civilization and the first mommies of Egypt, and he got a lot of backlash. But definitely do your own research. I don't project anything. I don't try to push anything on anybody. But in regards to this book, so I would just call her Mama Mayat. And Mayat is just, it comes from ancient Kemet, aka ancient Egypt. And basically, before Egypt was colonized, it was Kemet. Before Africa was colonized by Africanus, it was called a Kebulon. That was one of the names. Some people refer to as Ethiopia, as you know, Africa as that. But we're not going to get into all that. We're just going to get into this book. So, because I can go off on a tangent. So, the author, she goes in and she talks about the chakras, aka the Arids and Kemetic yoga, aka the Orishas. All energy centers that are elements of the world, as within, so without. We are a smaller entity of the cosmos, the earth, everything that's within us is also without in what we see in the world. Excuse me. But the main chakra that she focuses on is the Womb Chakra, aka the sacral chakra. That is the emotional body. We have 4 major bodies. We are said to have 4 major bodies. So one being the emotional, one being the mental, one being the physical, and one being the spiritual, aka the ethereal body. And as things manifest in the spiritual, they manifest in the physical. So there are always different activities on how to manifest and stuff like that. That's more along the lines of the root chakra. The sacral chakra is more along the lines of your emotional body, of your receptivity. Do you feel like you're worthy? That's your worthiness and your creativity. So if you have a creative blockage, I would definitely look into the sacral chakra and focus on it. She made a whole book about it. So I thought that was very, very powerful. In regards of things that we are privy to as children, she talks about how things are stored in the womb. Things are stored, all types of emotions that are not expressed keep you stagnant, keeps anybody stagnant. So a lot of times the main emotions, the main painful emotions especially, go straight to our wombs for women, and prostate a lot of times for men, because it's the opposite of the womb, right? And all of the chakras fit into the 4 major body systems with the mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, right? But the thing is that I've noticed is people who don't deal with their issues and how generational traumas are continued is there is so much focus on the material realm, which is very important to focus on the material realm, because that is definitely your foundation, but it's your survival. Sometimes people have a lot of money or they can sustain themselves, but they have an impoverished mind, right? So their mentality is off, so it blocks them from receiving more abundance, and that is centered very low in regards to your self-worth and how you actually think and feel about you and how you connect that feeling to the rest of the world. So it also connects to the heart. Once I started working on the very basis of the lower regions of my chakras, particularly of course the root is perhaps one of the most important. But I think in regards of when you're getting into especially the creative energy, that's more so along the lines of feminine energy, because you have both masculine and divine feminine sides, divine masculine, divine feminine, yin and yang. They're opposites of one another, oppositions of each other's reflection. And a lot of times our society, what I've noticed is there is a lot of colorism in regards to anything being dark, it being bad, right? Or anything being lighter, it being good. But both sides are different sides of a coin that coincide together to create a balanced individual, right? And she talks about getting back to that, getting back into balance. She discusses mommy issues, like the premise of being in the womb and how slavery, like our foundation, how slavery and oppression throughout the centuries have caused women to have a lot of issues. So it's not just the womb that you were born from, but it's that the womb, while you're in your grandmother's womb, while your mother's in your grandmother's womb, you're still in your mom's womb, because she still has eggs as she's developing in her mom's womb, right? So it's traditional, especially if you're a woman, because a woman is gonna be born with all the eggs that she's gonna be born with, of course, right? So she goes really deep, and it's so interesting because I'm actually making a book in regards of a lot of this stuff in regards of healing and patterns. So it helped me to actually. This book helped me to actually remove a lot of my creative blocks and to actually work on my sacral a lot deeper, because I don't know if people actually believe. Some people believe in it, some people don't. But I like tarot readings. I sometimes go on YouTube and I be doing the tarot, and I still have the pattern app, but universe, God, source will always send you signs, whether things you need to work on, things that are coming up for you, angel numbers, what have you. My sign was emotions. Even in my astrology, particularly my galactic signature, when it came down to Mayan astrology. Yes, Mayan astrology. So it was 4 signs that I got. I got 2 readings that said childhood trauma from sacral, with the sacral chakra that was never healed. And I wasn't privy to it because I was numb to it. It was a lot of things that I was just focusing on the material realm and being in a scramble to get the things that I wanted, not actually taking the time out, like being very into my masculine energy. And like I said before, you have to be balanced in both of your energy. I'm a woman, right? I'm a womb but man. So to not have that feminine energy present and to allow myself time and space to go inward, that's eternal. That's the feminine. That's the feminine aspect of creation, and you have your masculine aspect to take action. I didn't allow myself time to do that. Like, I was just always in a rut. If I thought of something, I was like, okay, I gotta act on it, but I didn't always plan it out, or I didn't always have the worthiness to feel like I could do it. And that a lot of times came from childhood trauma. So like I said, I got my 2 signs from 2 tarot readings, and then Patterns had mentioned it, the Pattern app. So funny, you see it everywhere. So Patterns app had mentioned Raven may have a hard time connecting to herself, and it may be an issue ever since childhood. That was big for me. The other thing was, I can't remember the other thing I had said it, because I did get 4 signs. 1 from Pattern, 2 tarot readings, and well, I can't remember it. It'll come back to me, but I got my signs basically, and I wasn't aware of them because, like I said, I was emotionally numb. Emotionally numb, because a lot of times people just tell you a lot of people don't have compassion, and you should even watch out for the therapist that you choose, because if they haven't been through what you've gone through, or if they're not privy to it, they can't relate to it, they won't be able to relate to you and guiding you out of your situation, because only the thing they can do is assist you. You have to do the work yourself, right? And I was told that by a therapist. She wasn't even giving me therapy. We were just talking. And that was very powerful. That was very powerful for me. Now, in regards of working on the basis of the sacral chakra, when you work on the root chakra, the sacral chakra, the heart, just basically the heart and below, anytime you're working on the roots, everything else aligns. A woman by the name of Sister Ajay, she owns a sweet spot here in Atlanta. She said that her whole premise is womb energy, big womb energy, actually, because that's what she does. She does yoni steams. She has yoni pearls. She has a lot of different things. Yoni eggs, CBDs, different healing modalities to assess the womb, to assist the womb to heal. And she even has like this little, I guess, like vape section where you're breathing in a certain type of oxygen. You breathe in the oxygen to go to your womb. You can do that. You can breathe in oxygen for your heart. You can breathe in oxygen for your head. You can do different type of breath work to heal different organ systems, because as some people know who are privy to it, that whatever you don't heal, it gets stored in different organ systems in your body, like the kidneys. For example, if you were a child who had anxiety issues, you may have wet the bed a lot. You may have wet the bed up until like age 13 or 14, and it may have been very embarrassing for you. Or you suffer from depression, so your breath, your heart, and your lungs may be stored with a lot of anguish. Your spleen and your liver store a lot of anger. So you are sensitive. Everybody's sensitive. And the thing of it is, people are sensitive in different ways. Maybe you have a sensitivity to energy, or maybe you have a sensitivity to food. These are all different things that correlate to your spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional body. And yeah, it's good stuff. So she talks about mommy and daddy issues. That was like the premise of where the book started, right? And the other thing is she talks about slavery. She talks about having the colorism syndrome. She calls it checking your inner white girl. She she calls it, and it's no disrespect towards anybody that is Caucasian or whatever. It's just to say, like, there's a lot of self-hate in quote-unquote black community or the indigenous community, and if you're not aware that you have that colorism issue, the syndrome I like to call it, then it helps you be aware. This book is a good book to help anyone be aware of things that they need to work on that they may not even have thought about. So she also talks about personal relationships women have with men, or the conditionings of, you know, what we've been conditioned to believe about men. Like, some unhealthy conditions that I had was all men. This is from both females. This is from both women and men. Like, in my upbringing, all men are predators, or they're gonna treat you a certain type of way. So it's just like, it's kind of teaching a child at a young age, like, hey, you better set yourself up, because if you're gonna be with a person, they're only gonna be nice to you unless you're giving them something in return. And that's not everybody. Some people actually have a genuine, pristine heart, you know. So that can really, like, mess up the psyche. She goes into different aspects of belief systems and how that can affect your emotional body and your sense of self-worth. She goes into a lot of different things, and I feel like it's so profound, as well as solutions. She talks about different women and different historical times. She talks about women in the Bible. She talks about women in the Quran. She talks about women, I believe, in the Torah as well. And she has, even in the back of the book, a declaration. Like, once you clear what she calls the funky little energy from Craig and them, from your mama, from your daddy, from your family lineage, your sense of awareness, how to actually keep and hold and harness that same energy and that same power. And I feel like that's absolutely just wonderful. So I would say overall this book is a really good read. If you've read it, you already know. If you haven't read it, I definitely feel like it's beautiful. She talks about purpose. I mean, that's the sense of where your creativity lies as well, because when you actually know your passions and your desires, that is something that equates to your heart. But you cannot feel if your emotional body is numb. That's the lesson. That's one of my lessons that I had to learn. And you can't go through life, let's say, if you had a parent that you may have had to walk on eggshells, you didn't necessarily know what type of parent you were going to deal with that day. Maybe you was going to deal with the angry parent. Maybe you was going to deal with the parent that was giddy and jokey and jovial, or maybe you was going to deal with the parent that was in a bad mood or likes to take their anger out sometimes, even on their children. So it just depends on what you've been through, right? I'm just using that as an example, but those kind of things affect the child in a way of they don't know what to expect, and so they then become hypersensitive to the outside world, the physical realm, and they become less attuned to themselves and how they feel, because they're too focused on how to appease and how to not piss that parent off, especially if you had a very strict parent. Dear Lord bless you. Or sorry, my video cut off. But especially if you had a parent that was like very disapproving. So then if you feel like you can never do right by your parents, you may have graduated top 10% of your class in high school, maybe have graduated to the dean's list, and you weren't really a bad child, but it's just maybe your parent had issues with their own personal life and it affects you. Maybe they say things that actually hurt you and bring you down, and you know, have been programmed into that sense to where you actually don't have a sense of self-worth or self-value to actually go out there and pursue life the way that you want to. And that's just giving an example. I know I talked to a lot of different people in regards to their stuff and even with my own stuff. So that's just an example of how some people can start to have issues with their value, their self-value, their self-worth. But once you move through that, and my next book review is going to be this book right here by Maston Kemp. It's called Claim Your Power. So this is going to be my next read. I already started diving into it. It's already good and juicy. I'm already about that life, gang. It's an interactive book as well as the What's in Your Womb book. So if y'all have any questions in regards of things I read or just in regards to other things I do, I also trade Forex. I also invest in cryptocurrencies. Definitely hop on a call. We have a call tonight with the crypto nerds. If you want that information, I usually like to post it in my stories or just DM me. Let me know if you're interested in investing in cryptocurrencies. Some people have actually made 50K. I myself have got profits as well. I definitely feel that people should have multiple streams of income some way or another. Especially in the times that we're in what COVID season, I prefer to say. And you just want to be aware and sound of all the opportunities that we have out here. And I'm also a part of a group called B now, and it's an international it's an international business. It's a tech company, and it's really profound because if you want to be an educator, let's say you are into real estate, let's say you're into e-commerce, let's say you are into trading or binary options, we have some of everything, and all of that is also is combined with travel. So it's like a tech company that also provides travel. It's a very profound company. I was just talking to my mentor about the traveling side because it's up to $10,000 in discounts. One of the brothers in our group, he actually ended up doing a round trip to California for his mom for a little over $100. It was like $100, $120 or something like that. So it wasn't even $200. It was below $200 for a round trip, and I felt like that was amazing, especially being on here on the East Coast going to the West Coast. So that's the thing. But yeah, if you want to know any more information, like I said, I'll be posting more content on personal development, self-help. I'm definitely self-help, and investing, and now it's gonna be about like family-oriented stuff since I'm about to be a mom, next generation type of stuff. So all of this stuff is combined with the next generation, leaving a legacy. So if you're interested in any of that, just DM me, and have a great rest of your day. Peace.